All right, let's talk about a complete. Remember, we've already talked about this builds trust with the customer. Your contracts need to be clear and understandable. And by the way, compliance is going to be something that you can talk to that will distinguish you between the bad players and all of your referral sources. They wanted to, if there was a CompuCredit rule or engagement of a company called CompuCredit, and they were like killing it, and then they were investigated, and what they were saying from the referral partner that spoke to the customer and what the customer finally got as a service was a problem. Well, guess what? Who else did that? Lexington Law and I'm sorry, not Smart Credit. It's not Smart Credit. It's creditrepair.com. Creditrepair.com was taken down because of that as well, because they had a marketing on that said one thing, a bunch of referral sources that built websites that said X thing, and by the time they closed on a live transfer, the experience was completely different. There's thousands of customers like that. So establishing great relationship with your lenders, brokers, and affiliates, that just, if you're compliant and they hear that word till it's, I said compliant 1,000 times, or a version of that on this call alone. And guess what? That makes your customer, your partners feel warm and fuzzy inside because you're protecting their downside. Okay, protect your reputation, increase efficiency and profitability. When you do things the right way, you normally, and you're consistent, and everybody, and you've created an environment of compliance and repeatability. You're basically creating a compliance bullhorn within your business. So as you add people to that structure, they have to be compliant first, and nothing else should matter. Compliance trumps sales all the time. Okay. So once you preach that, you're going to get the business by default. You just have to hustle, right? I'm not saying you're going to magically all of a sudden make money, but it's going to be a great topic to talk about because you live and embrace compliance. That's why it matters. Okay. And guess what? Everybody's got ChatGPT. Everybody's an expert now. Everybody's validating everybody's facts now. You say something, and the first thing we're doing is we're perplexing in it, or we're grokking it, or we're chat GPTing it. It used to be Google. Google is a thing of the past. Now it's chat GPT. A kid says something to you, you're validating it. They say a colloquialism, you're validating it on chat GPT, right? That's what I mean. So it matters now even more than ever because now they're fact checking you. You should not be saying the wrong things because you will be called out on it. This is a competitive advantage. All right. I got a call from a CRO the other day asking me why, Joshua, do I have a competitor and look at their website and they are licensed and bonded. I said, how do you know they're licensed and bonded? They were in California. I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to say the CRO, but I immediately took the website, went onto the California website, looked them up on their lookup list at the Attorney General, and guess what? Lo and behold, they not only been are they not only not licensed and bonded to do business in California, they've never been licensed to do business in California. Yet he was intrigued by the way he was losing customers to them. And I said, well, that's just like somebody coming up and standing beside you and you working a job and getting paid for it, or having a legal business and hustling for it, and then having a guy down the street, that's your neighbor, and he's doing the wrong things, whatever that may be, and he's got all the cars and the houses and stuff. You know, that's c'est la vie. That's his problem. You live well every night and you sleep and you bring home the bacon because you hustled for it the right way. I think that God is good. That's the way I answer that. It matters. Compliance matters, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, technology and automation. If your software is not time stamping everything, tracking activities, securing contracts in a secured format that's encrypted, okay, securing your social security numbers, hiding or not even having the CVV codes at all. Okay, these are things that you need to go ahead and make sure that your software is doing that. And if they're not, you need to speak to us at ScoreCEO because we got something for you. It's called ScoreCEO. Okay, we track everything we can track at ScoreCEO, and we display, I would say, much less than what we track. Okay. And that's just going to get better over time, and it's going to grow over time, because we think that the quicker you make decisions is the quicker that you can make decisions, ethical decisions, the quicker you can react. It's like having a direct connection to what every customer will ultimately want. That's why they're fact checking everything. They want to do business inherently with companies that will be able to provide that business consistently every time, and they will pick up their calls because they don't have to worry about being shut down. AI assisted quality control. This is something that you should be implementing right now. Now, does ScoreCEO do it? No, not yet. We may in the future, but if you have a letter that you created and put into ScoreCEO that you're using, if you have the email that you're creating, run it by ChatGPT, have them audit it, send it to your attorney after you've given them a pre-qualified version, so he doesn't have to spend as much time. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to ChatGPT as well with different prompts that are more specific than yours, and he's going to use legal input as well from the tools like the investigative tools from their legal documentation and precedents. Right? They're going to go ahead and do that. They're going to do their due diligence, because that's what attorneys do. Okay, you want to let AI start assisting you in that quality control of your transcripts and things of that nature. You want to go ahead and make sure that if a law came down the road, maybe you have the contract that ScoreCEO. Don't trust ScoreCEO because Joshua says trust ScoreCEO. Trust ScoreCEO because we have the intention to go ahead and do it. But that doesn't mean we might have something in there that may be uncompliant, because rules are changing. Businesses are morphing. Technology is changing the landscape. So use AI to leverage that and audit your contract and edit it, because you can edit the contract in ScoreCEO, as well as all the emails and all the templates in ScoreCEO. You can do everything that you need to do with regards to that type of content, and you can use AI to help you with that quality control. Payment and contract automation. Eliminate manual billing to ensure TSR compliance, right? You want to be able to charge for the services performed, and you want to be able to document that. We've done that since day one. And that has just gotten better and better and better. Over the last year and a half, we've released we released the credit memo functionality. We've enhanced that credit memo functionality. That means that you can now you can do a refund, or you can do a credit. You can do quite a few different things in ScoreCEO that I would love to show you. But if you need to see it, just get on a call with somebody at ScoreCEO. Go onto the chat, or ask for Javier or Jasmine or anybody that or any of the team. We're all manning our chat, and we'll go ahead and engage you and maybe book some time to demo some of these things. If you're a ScoreCEO user, book some training time with Jasmine. We're happy to go ahead and educate you on a lot of the things we're promoting with regards to our enhancements. We release enhancements no less than quarterly, and sometimes in there every month or two. So Monday we released a few enhancements. So take advantage of all those enhancements. Contracts are sent, signed, and stored digitally. We don't have some half baked type of contract. We said, how do we deliver the best contract? Well, by having a company that we think is the best to do business with. Well, we married ourselves to HelloSign, which still is called in our platform HelloSign, but was purchased by Dropbox eSign. So Dropbox owns that company now. It grew from like 10 employees when we started doing business with them in 2006, 13, 14, 15, around there. And they've grown and now they have millions and millions of users now and thousands of developers there. The owners are not even the owners anymore. Okay, so apparently you chose the right platform. You look at any contract in ScoreCEO that has been sent, it'll tell you the status inside the workflow. If it's been viewed, it'll tell you that in the workflow. We've got webhooks that are monitoring that, and if they signed it, it'll tell you that as well, and when it was signed, and by whom. It's a two-party signature. So after it's been signed by the customer, then you engage in the work and you sign it later on. It goes back to the person that sent out the contract in your business to sign it digitally. And when you look at that contract, it has, every time everybody opened it, viewed it, signed up until the signing of the contract, it's all logged there, because those are the part of the electronic documentation rules. If somebody just put a signature on a piece of paper somewhere using some sort of API with Adobe with Adobe signage and not Adobe DocuSign or some type of tracking mechanism on that, it's not a legally signed document digitally. Okay, so automate that. Make sure that your software is doing that. Secure client portals. Make sure that your client and your communication logs are kept private between you and your customers within their portals. And if you're in a chat within a secured portal, what better security than that, right? You can have communications with them on your websites, but that's not as secure as when they're behind the firewall, behind our WAF, behind all the things that we do. 2 weeks ago, we started implementing an additional protection to our schema of things by implementing a WAF, protecting and securitizing at an additional level our communications and our access to our platforms on the back end and on the front end. So I mean, that's what we do because I'd rather sleep well at night every weekend than not be bothered with compromising issues. Centralized compliance dashboard. The first thing that you look at when you go into ScoreCEO is a dashboard, and you have an issues. You want to see all the issues that your customers can create, security issues. You can escalate, you can go ahead and answer them, mark them as completed, involve somebody else on them. You can communicate back and forth and resolve your customer issues without being attached to that customer in tandem. Okay, you can talk to them on the chat, you can call them on the phone, but if they create an issue, you're immediately flagged on that issue, and it'll depend on the role, right? So if you're the salesperson or the processor that's involved with that, you may be able to look at those issues and answer those issues. As an administrator, you can see what everybody's answering or not, and you can push people to attend to their customers. This is why you need compliance dashboards that can be used to manage compliance as well. If you want to tag customers, use free tag and send compliant attach campaigns on specific tags, you can do so. The Credit Law Center is a law center. They do credit repair as a lead gen. Their business is FCRA and FDCPA litigation. Okay, that's their core business, and they do it through by addressing credit repair customers. They've attended to thousands of customers, and they have built we have videos out there. If you might want to check some of those webinars out, just on that alone, on how they've implemented ScoreCEO to address customer service interactions and also address sales interactions while even having completed automated scripts within our workflow area. May want to take a look at that. It's awesome. So we do that. If your software is not doing that, you need to talk to us. Okay, building your compliance framework is something you have to do every day. This is not something that you do because you're engaged. Been there, done that. It doesn't work. Believe me, you don't need to know by personal experience. Take my word for it. You don't need to be investigated to figure something out. You have to be proactive about it. I wasn't, and it cost me dearly. And it compromised my livelihood, compromised my family, compromised everybody around me. It was embarrassing as hell as well, by the way, to have my name out there. Okay, but I took care of it. I turned around and I did the opposite. And that's why I'm so passionate about compliance now, because it's the only way to do business. Okay, you want to make sure that you have written policies and procedures around internal process. Use ChatGPT to help you out. If you need us to take a look at it at the end of this call, we're going to give you're going to have a QR code, and you're going to be able to go ahead and download on a QR, get access to the QR code and download that PDF. And if you need to book a call, you can always book a call with me or Jasmine, and we can go deeper into anything regarding your policies and procedures and give you our opinions. Okay. How do you handle FCRA, TSR compliance, and CROA? What a better way what the best way? Well, are you TSR compliant? Look at our guidelines. This is our training. This is why we train our personnel. And this is our list of flags that we found employees. These are our corrective actions. This is what we've done. This is how we've readdressed the issue with those employees. The repetitive ones. These are the ones that we've had to part ways with because they were doing things not to the caliber of compliance that our company needs to abide by. When you have all of that in a binder somewhere or in a digital document, guess what? That's proactive. That's exactly what regulators want to see, and that puts them in not in a non-aggressive way to engage you. That creates a lot of respect between the regulators and your company if you're ever engaged. So you got to start somewhere. Written policies and procedures, controls and documentation. All call scripts, contracts should be in there. Automatic timestamping, that should be in your software. Evidence packs, if you've got like dispute letters, results, that should be explained within your processes. Okay, you can ScoreCEO can automatically log these actions. We have a log that we're trying to make it less cryptic, but it logs everything. If you sneeze, it logs it. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't. But you can log most events on there. We're gonna start making it more legible so that you don't have to ask about some things that are not exactly they log it, but you've got to understand what it means. Okay, so we're getting better at that. But the fact of the matter is that we're logging everything, or if not everything, but a lot that you can take advantage of. And that's what regulators want to see. Staff training and certification. If you want to get certified with CROA, you can do so at Naxo. They have certifications for every single one of your customers, and they'll give you a certificate. You'll take a test, and you can address that test on a yearly basis. That's the way they do it with regards to HIPAA compliance and data security in the big companies. Guess what? Where everybody's being forced to act that way because AI is leveling the playing field. So everybody's has got access to more information nowadays. And sometimes, AI engines tend to hallucinate. So that means that they get it wrong. So we have to make sure that we're still doing the right thing. New hires should receive compliance onboarding. You should conduct quarterly refresher training, and I would say sign off on quizzes that you can send them. Send them, and if they, just tell them, listen, I can't have you on the phones until you take the test. There's a bunch of learning management services out there, or module, so that can help you set up automated ways of doing that. If you don't have any of that, use Google Forms to do it. It logs the results for you. Okay. Keep digital proof of attendance for each session. So you want to give the training, log the, and then have them take the test, right? You want to be as compliant as you can. And this Jasmine said to me in this presentation, you're only as compliant as the least trained team member. Remember that. Okay. Takeaways. CFPB and FTC actions, pay attention to them. No advance fees. Avoid deceptive trade advertising and trade practices. Don't say things that are guaranteed or whatever, anything in that realm. It doesn't exist. You should not be saying it. You shouldn't say it doesn't belong to me. It's paid as agreed. It's not duplicate. Stay away from all of that. Truthful partnerships. Never imply or exaggerate connections to bureaus, lenders, or government agencies. Tell them the truth and only the truth. If you need to give an opinion, you should say nothing. Let your attorney give the opinions, because you're going to say something that will compromise you to anyone. Okay. If it's not absolutely true, it's not to be said. Okay. Keep scripts, call logs, dispute documentation, and disclosures for at least 24 months. Okay. In ScoreCEO, they're there forever, quite frankly, unless you leave the platform and then we get rid of your. I believe we have a SOC 2 level compliant process that we should be deleting that data. Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. Okay. All right. Action plan. If you've got your phone, pull it out right now and bookmark, go ahead and navigate towards this QR code. This is the way you get your action plan. It's a nice PDF document that basically depicts what you should be doing within the next 90 days. It gives you a clear and concise roadmap to that. Okay, go ahead and do that. If you don't do that right now, or you can't do that right now, Jasmine will be sending out an email to all of the attendees with that roadmap as well. Is that fair, Jasmine?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you. If there are any questions, you can ask them now. Remember, I told you the next webinar is about the truth about CPN. Stop fraud before it destroys your credit repair business and reputation, by the way. Remember, we have our weekly blog is how long do hard inquiries remain on a credit report. I was looking at it today. There's one or two errors in that blog, but I've sent to have them corrected. So pay no attention to the 3 to 5 point allegation there. That's a complete mistake, and we're correcting that if we haven't already. Um, and all of our services, outsourcing, education is free. You should be asking for access to ScoreCEO, especially if you're a dispute processing customer. Our SEO services, take advantage. We're going to, at a certain point, have to say no to some of our customers. We've had quite a few interesting projects up here. Take advantage of our SEO prowess. And remember that if you need to get started with a brand new website or a custom built website, we can either have a pre-built one or make one custom for you. Okay. Join NACSO. It's the only way that we're represented. Within this, this is where we got all of our information from, the CFPB, Investopedia, and the FTC. That'll be within the presentation. Jasmine, if you want to send them the presentation, you can. I am done. Is there anything that we need to discuss, Jasmine? Do we have any other questions?
Let me just do a quick review. The other ones are just comments. One is ChatGPT has allowed me to stop bothering my attorney so much.
I
The
agree.
the other one says ChatGPT spent 2 hours lying to me repeatedly and in variations of lying like a little kid
Yeah.
until it finally admitted it wasn't allowed to copy and paste from other websites. It can't quote exactly, so definitely go to the source that anyone is referencing. By the way, then it told me that I could copy and paste the exact quote myself into ChatGPT. Can use just what was typed in. Fair warning. I'm not impressed for legal specificity or important direct.
Specificity, yeah. I
Yeah,
get it. I
yeah.
agree. That person had a really bad experience. I've had really good experiences with ChatGPT. It's helped me out a lot, but I've had some really bad experiences with ChatGPT, and that's totally true. You have to have the right prompts, and even if you have the right prompts, sometimes it tends to hallucinate. One of my developers told me that after 8 interactions, it naturally starts to hallucinate. So you have to really give it really good prompts from the get-go and be very careful. Even in learning, even as it learns, all of a sudden it can be stupid, just like people can. How many times have you gotten up and say, just want to kill it during the day and then end up saying something stupid during the day? I mean, we're human. That's what they're trying to emulate with AI. So stupidity is also a human trait. So the best thing to do is to validate some of these large language models with actual experts. I agree. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. That's all of the questions and comments.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for the call this week. It's a little big topic, long call, but thank you for hanging in there. And I truly appreciate your business and hope to see you on our next webinar. So you can see if you're not using CPNs, start looking at the way some of the people that are doing this the wrong way are doing things that are probably even competing with you. So you know how to address that with your customers and protect them from themselves and listening to absurd propositions. See you then. Have a great month. If not, we can get on a call prior to that. Have a great day. Bye bye.